Podejście and the protests of Poles against accepting illegal immigrants from Germany into Poland. As residents, we cannot allow our children, our wives, or anyone in our families to be afraid to go out into the city center, whether it be during the day or at night. We cannot allow ourselves to be afraid in our own city. The police arrived on the scene, but not to ensure safety. We don't need to be guarded. Those in the forest need to be guarded. We were in the forest for 3 years. A moment later, the police used tear gas against the protesters. However, they did not allow themselves to be provoked. Our behavior was completely in line with accepted norms. We did not shout any rude slogans. There was no profanity. There were no acts of vandalism. This is scandalous behavior on the part of the police. We would like them to intervene as effectively and quickly when illegal immigrants cross our border. According to eyewitness accounts, it was the police who behaved provocatively towards the protesters from the very beginning. I left the event a little earlier. I only witnessed the police taking one of the organizers, the one who spoke the most, to a police car, where he was to be charged. This also shows that something is wrong here. Opposition politicians are warning that this is yet another case of the police carrying out political orders under Donald Tusk's government. The aim is to portray the participants of grassroots protests as dangerous militants. All these people who are going to the border today of their own free will to guard our border because they oppose mass immigration and the fact that Donald Tusk's government is accepting everyone from Germany, these people will be called racist today. They will be attacked by the mainstream media, by politicians from the civic coalition, and we must be aware that provocations may take place. Provocations by the Internal Security Agency, provocations by the police, as was the case during the independence marches under the civic platform. Just like in the Netherlands, there too, Germans bring immigrants who are unwanted in their country, as recorded among others by city surveillance cameras in the border town of Venlo. And the Dutch, who like the Poles patrol their borders, are attacked in the mainstream media. The media portrayed the raids carried out by extremists on the border between Groningen and Lower Saxony as border controls carried out by angry citizens. They continue to do so even though it is clear that these practices are organized by the well-known conspiracy theorist Jan H., who has been convicted of incitement. The PVV leader Geert Wilders encourages the hunts and has announced that he himself wants to take part in them. The Dutch police are also acting against their own citizens. Border control is the exclusive responsibility of the Royal Military Police. Citizens cannot take on this role. It is likely that something is being tested in the Netherlands, namely how public opinion will react to it. I do not rule out that similar narratives and images will also be used in relation to the Polish border defense movement. The German media are also participating in this smear campaign. In mid-June, Die Welt attacked the border defense movement. Members of this grassroots organization were accused of organizing the smuggling of illegal immigrants from Poland to Germany. On the border with Poland, the federal police once again rejected several Somalis. The twist: earlier, officers on the Polish side noticed 2 men in reflective vests who were directing migrants towards Germany.
Proszę państwa.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the thief cries, "Catch the thief." That's how you can describe the Germans. Today, it is the Germans who are trying to make us criminals, even though they themselves are committing crimes. It is the Germans who are trying to stop the process of awakening Polish society, the Polish nation, to defend itself against mass migration. We will not allow this to happen. According to the border defense movement, Germany may have transferred as many as several thousand illegal immigrants to Poland in recent months. However, Poles are increasingly documenting these situations. Lubieszyn, border crossing. If you want, go ahead, take a look. I can't do much because there are threats here too. Here the Gestapo and SS are dropping off engineers, so to say. This recording is from yesterday in Lubieszyn, and this one is from a few days ago in Zgorzelec. Here we can see how the Germans are dropping off migrants to the Poles, the whole team, and they are already being led to the other side. They are still crossing, blocking traffic, and they are leading everyone. Many of them have no documents. Those who declare themselves to be minors are sent to children's homes. This was the case, among others, in Izdebno near Garwolin, Police, Ciechanów, Pęchery, and Skierniewice.
Ci chłopcy mają
These boys are supposedly imposing their will, saying that girls dress immodestly and that they demand that they dress differently, according to their rules, according to their religion. What is this? This is imposing Sharia law. And where? In a children's home. Attacks on Polish people are becoming more and more frequent. This is a recording from Warsaw, where a foreigner delivering food brutally beat and kicked a Polish security guard for pointing out his bad parking. This is also Warsaw, and another attack by a foreigner. In Kościerzyna, a 27-year-old Colombian man who tried to steal a wallet from one of the city's residents was detained by citizens. He was handed over to the police. In Toruń, Poles took to the streets after a brutal attack by an illegal immigrant, after which a young Polish woman is fighting for her life in the hospital. And here, a similar protest in Radom. This is probably a clear message for the government. And for all those who want to turn Poland into a third world country.
This is the most racist country I've seen in my lifetime, bro. Never come Poland. They are racist on the plane, everything. Some dusty country, bro. This is the most dustiest country you've come to in your life. Never come, bro, never come Poland. No wonder Wizz Air do the flights for free. Yeah, airport, yeah, please. Horrible place. Never come back here again in my life.
Come here, but legally, because Poland is one of the most hospitable and safe countries in the world, precisely because we all obey the law and the rules developed over 1,000 years of our history. No one today needs to be convinced of the importance of Patriot anti-aircraft and anti-missile systems, both in Ukraine and in the Middle East. For example, in the defense of the American base in Qatar, they have performed their tasks successfully.
We believe that this is the largest single Patriot engagement in U.S. military history. And we were joined in this engagement by the Qatari Patriot crews. I'm not going to tell you how many rounds were shot, but it was a bunch because of classified purposes.
The problem is that while one or two systems consisting of several launchers are sufficient for an attack, such as Iran's in the last hours of the clash with Israel, they are far from enough in the case of massive and daily Russian shelling of the whole of Ukraine. Hence the Ukrainian president's efforts to acquire more Patriots. As he himself admits, there is nothing else on the global air defense market.
If Americans have these systems, Germany, they didn't produce systems of Patriots, but they delivered us more systems than any other country alone. Yes, but they delivered, and we are very thankful for this. But only United States produce Patriot systems, and I can't find for today alternative.
However, due to their advantages, these systems are currently used all over the world, from the Korean Peninsula through Taiwan to Israel, Europe, and the United States itself. That is why what happened during the U.S. president's press conference in The Hague after the NATO summit deserves special attention, when a Ukrainian journalist was given the microphone and asked directly about the possibility of further deliveries.
Is your husband a soldier? No?
He's
there now?
Yeah.
Wow, that's rough stuff, right? That's tough. And you're living here?
In Warsaw.
And you're a reporter?
I am.
Good. So let me just tell you, they do want to have the missiles, okay, as they call them, the Patriots. And we're going to see if we can make some available, you know. They're very hard to get. We need them too. We were supplying them to Israel. And they're very effective, 100% effective. Hard to believe how effective. And they do want that more than any other thing, as you probably know. That's a very good question, and I wish you a lot of luck. I mean, I can see it's very upsetting to you. So say hello to your husband, okay?
According to the American media, Washington, D.C. is already in talks about the possibility of sending at least 3 more Patriot systems to Ukraine. However, another decision was crucial for Ukraine's future: to increase military spending in NATO countries. Aid to Ukraine is to be included in these expenditures, which means that investments in Ukraine's defense are also investments in our security.
NATO leaders agreed on the The Hague Defense Investment Plan. And this will fuel a quantum leap in our collective defense. They agreed to boost our defense industries, which will not only increase our security, but will also create jobs. And we have reaffirmed our unwavering support for Ukraine.
Interestingly, this is not limited to European countries, but even includes allies as far away as Australia. In fact, Canberra has decided to provide very direct assistance to Ukraine.
We have been able to announce that we will be deploying an E-7 Wedgetail to Poland in August for a 3-month rotation, which will help support Ukraine in its struggle and defiance against Russia. There'll be about 100 Australian personnel who come with that asset.
These behind-the-scenes decisions not only have the effect of increasing Ukraine's defense capabilities, but also significantly enhance the credibility of the NATO alliance as a whole. Decisions on the possible seizure of Russian assets frozen by Western banks will also be very important. The Americans are increasingly leaning toward imposing new sanctions on Russia. This is all the more so given that in the light of recent events in the Middle East, the White House is looking for options to reset relations with Iran and stabilize the situation in the Gaza Strip. The first summer heat wave has hit Greece. Temperatures have exceeded 40 degrees Celsius, and authorities are advising residents to stay indoors.
We are all from Pennsylvania, and we've never really experienced a heat wave like this before, so we're all very hot, and all of our skin is very sensitive to the sun. Like me, I had sun poisoning on my hands from the cruise ship in the Mediterranean Sea.
On the Acropolis, crowds of tourists are protecting themselves with hats, fans, and umbrellas.
It's quite tolerable. It's warm, dry. It's very comparable to back at home in Australia, this sort of heat, except it's not got the humidity about it.
To cope with the high temperatures, the Athens authorities have opened 7 special centers, 1 for each district. We welcome Greeks and tourists who need to cool down and take a break from the very high temperatures. We provide medical advice if necessary. We come here to spend time, talk, read, and have fun. The capital's authorities have set up a hotline for people who need medical advice due to the heat. They have also advised residents to stay hydrated, avoid alcohol, and limit outdoor activities.
It's very sweaty, and there's a nice breeze on the top of the Acropolis here, but it's quite warm down low and in the crowds. But I'm enjoying it, to be honest.
The authorities have also banned outdoor work for construction workers and delivery personnel between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. and are encouraging remote work. Residents of the capital and tourists are complaining about the heat, and in the south of Athens, a large fire is raging. Local authorities have decided to urgently evacuate 5 villages. I can see the ruins, but it hasn't sunk in yet. I'm sorry, I'm in shock. I need to sit down for a moment. I can't leave this place. The Coast Guard, with 2 patrol boats and 9 private vessels, is on standby in the Palaia Fokaya area in case residents need to be evacuated by sea. The police wouldn't let us through. When my wife and I finally got here, it was too late. What could we do? There was nothing left. 20 water-dropping planes and 2 helicopters provided air support to 130 firefighters battling a blaze in the coastal area of Palaia Fokaya, south of Athens. The fire, which broke out in a built-up area, is being fanned by strong winds. We were luckier thanks to the firefighters. They managed to prevent the fire from spreading. The Athens area, as well as several Aegean islands, have been at level 4 on a 5-point forest fire danger scale for several days. The heat wave is expected to last until the end of the week. A bear cub, an aviation enthusiast, paralyzed an airport in Japan's Yamagata prefecture. The black bear has once again invaded the runway in the space of a few days, forcing the airport to cancel several flights. Despite attempts to chase the animal away, the situation keeps repeating itself. The bear must love airplanes. The Japanese airport found itself in quite the predicament. The intruder was first spotted early in the morning. For safety reasons, it was decided to immediately shut down operations. When airport security chased the animal away and the area was declared clear, the bear reappeared around noon, right next to the runway, causing further disruption. A video of the incident went viral. To regain control, authorities sent in hunters and set traps, while police cordoned off the airport to prevent the bear from escaping to nearby areas. This is not an isolated incident. Japan has seen a record number of bear encounters, more than 200, with 6 people losing their lives and dozens more injured.